Hey everyone, Brent here with the news of the week for anime and manga news for the splendiferous week ending the 23rd of May, 2009. I'm going to start off with some Funimation news today. Funimation has acquired Spice and Wolf, the first season. I haven't seen it personally, but apparently it's a sort of a slice of life fantasy show. Certainly was popular when it came out on the fan sub circuit. Animated by Imagine. So that's quite exciting. I mean, that was a pretty popular show around. So, as I earlier mentioned, second season is planned, premiering this July in Japan. And the good news is the original light novels and the manga adaptation by Keito Kome have been acquired by Yen Press for English translation. So, some Spice and Wolf coming out here. Very cool. Also from animenews.biz, Funimation also announced the dub cast for the Evangelion 1.0 movie, You Are Not Alone. It's basically the same cast that they've been using for Evangelion going way back. So it's essentially that cast from what I can tell, which is, nice to see. Meanwhile, some Studio Ghibli news. According to Kai-Ming Cha of Publishers Weekly on her blog called Boiled Egg, Hayao Miyazaki of Studio Ghibli and many well-renowned anime films will be in Berkeley, California in late July to receive a Berkeley, Japan Prize for Lifetime Achievement from the Center for Japanese Studies at UC Berkeley. According to that blog, Miyazaki is required by his contract with Disney to make at least one appearance in the US. So this is basically because of his contract. Do note that this is the same weekend as the San Diego Comic-Con. So I wouldn't be surprised to see if Miyazaki shows up there for something. Also from ANN in Ghibli news and actually in Miyazaki news as well, Ponyo on the Cliff, I think is the official English title, will air in the U.S. at the LA Film Festival June 28th. That'll be the first time it's shown over here with the Disney dub apparently. And it'll open throughout the U.S. on August 14th. So look out for that. The latest film by Hayao Miyazaki, Studio Ghibli stuff. Looks interesting, quite weird, a little more kid-oriented, so we'll see. Also in the very much not kid-oriented news, Yoshitoshi Abe of Serial Experiments Lain, Nia Under 7, Haibane Renmei, Technolize, lots of cool stuff. He announced he's working on a new anime called Despera. That's about all he's said, except the fact that it's being made with, quote, many of Lain's staffers, end quote. So that should be quite interesting. That probably means Yasuyuki Ueda, who we also work with on some other stuff, plus Chiaki J. Kanaka, the writer. So clearly it's going to be a lighthearted romantic comedy. Despera, yeah, that sounds really upbeat. But who knows? And no other information is out there, so everyone's just sort of asking lots of pointless questions. Also from just sort of reality and everyone noticing this, there's a new Haruhi, Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya episode airing in Japan, right in the middle of the re-airing of the Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya. For those who don't know what's going on, basically many moons ago, Kyoto Animation let slip that they were working on a new season of Haruhi, to absolutely no one's surprise, but they wouldn't say when. And then they announced that they were going to be re-airing the original Haruhi in Japan. I haven't been able to figure out exactly what order they're airing the new, the re-airing in. I think it's chronological order. And so they got 8 episodes in, and then a new episode showed up. So apparently they're basically, this re-airing is going to be a restructuring of Haruhi and essentially reinserting new episodes to create a chronological adaptation of the original light novels in chronological order, probably from novel 1 through, I think, 2 or 3. So they're kind of recreating the Haruhi series as it airs, which is kind of interesting. I got a chance to watch the new episode. It's new Haruhi. It's quite cool. Some fun time travel stuff. So quite interesting to see how KyoAni is doing it. It's typical KyoAni stuff. But that's cool. And also from Anime News Network, some slightly less upbeat news. Christopher Handley, the Iowan who imported some loli rape hentai manga, pled guilty on Wednesday to, quote, possessing drawings of children being sexually abused, end quote. Good on you. Now, of course, folks are screaming and yelling about the fact that it's just drawn, so it shouldn't count as, like, pornography, I guess. But do note that according to Title 18 of the U.S. Code, Section 1466AB1, that code prohibits, quote, the possession of any type of visual depiction including a drawing, cartoon, sculpture, or painting that depicts a minor engaging in sexually explicit conduct that is obscene, end quote. So it's there on the books. The maximum sentence is 15 years and up to $250,000 in fines, but don't freak out about it. I mean, that's the maximum sentence. It hasn't been handed out yet, and typically it's very rare for maximum sentences to be handed out. You'll probably get something closer to a slap on the wrist. I mean, maybe some jail time, maybe a fine, but it's not. I don't think it's going to be that big. It kind of rarely is. But that is kind of interesting. Also in legal news, the Japanese government has released a short anime called Bukura no Saibanin Monogatari, aka Our Jury Duty, roughly, to explain the concept of jury duty to the Japanese. This is from DannyChew.com. Japan just reintroduced jury duty to the Japanese legal system for the first time in 60 years. So folks are kind of confused about how that works, especially young people. So they've done this anime. It's kind of a moe anime style, although more kind of like, not like otaku moe stuff. It actually looks quite nice. The animation's simple. I mean, it's obviously sort of a government-funded thing. But very nice character designs. It's very easy to look at. Kind of boring. But, it's nice and easy to look at. And it is good to see something decent coming out here. I've certainly seen worse anime. I mean, gosh. But getting back to sort of slightly less exciting news, this is more an industry news, according to Anime News Network. They quote the Japan Animation Creators Association, which is a really difficult to remember name. They shortened it to JANICA. They did a survey of animators working in Japan. If you're in your early 20s, working as an animator in Japan, you're making on average, according to this survey, $11,000 a year. Those of you who don't know, that's not a lot, and especially in Japan. The survey surveyed 700 animators and directors. But hey, when you hit your 30s, you're up to a whole $22,000 a year. In your 40s and 50s, you're rolling in the dough at $31K per year. Yeah, that's not enough. For those of you who don't know, basically most animators live with their parents or otherwise room with a lot of people. It's not a livable salary, unfortunately. And again, that's an average, but still, that's a low average. Even worse, 47%, almost half, had no employment contract, entirely at will. So they could be terminated by an animated company at any time for any reason. I mean, even just, we felt like it. You're just terminated, no recourse. Not a good sign for any industry. So should be interesting to see if that changes anything. I mean, JANICA is definitely talking a lot about that and pointing out that that's a very bad sign. So hopefully that'll make some changes. Who knows? Anyway, that's the news for this week. And until next week, keep the home fires burning.